Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Have you ever noticed that sometimes that people come into your life just to teach you a lesson?
Yeah.
You know, when I was 14 years old, I met a man who taught me a quintessent lesson that playing to win is different from playing not to lose. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi, and my family and I, we moved here to Atlanta from there, from the great state of Mississippi. And when I got here to Atlanta as a young child, I was looking for things to do. And I fell in love with the great sport of basketball. And I love basketball so much that I ate, slept, and dreamt basketball. And so I used to sleep with the basketball. In summer times, that was my pillow. In summer times, I actually used to play 8 hours a day and get there early before anybody ever got there. That's how much I love the game of basketball. And I used to get there early to play basketball to prepare for the moment that every sports player prepares for. You know what it is? The game-winning shot. You know, just imagine as a kid, I would count down, you know, the countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the buzzer goes off. I used to practice that so much. You know, one day while I was at the court early, I met a man named Jeff Barnes. It was on a Saturday. You know, he was an older African-American man who moved here from Chicago, and he was there, you know, early. And I was actually surprised that he was that early as well. But he was there, so it was just him and I there, and we struck up a conversation. And in that conversation, he told me that, you know, he was here from Chicago with his family, and he wanted to start a basketball team for the kids in the community. And I love basketball so much, I said, sure, I would love to join. What I didn't realize then is that, and I realize now, is that he was from Chicago, and what he learned was that if you're not involved, when kids are not involved in the community, then you know what happens. And so that was his way to give back to the community with having kids in his basketball team. But I was just along for the ride and having fun. You know, so he would have this older station wagon, brown, no AC, a little bit smelly, but I loved the game, so I was willing to go through it. And so we would go to different parks around the neighborhood, and we would play basketball. He would pile 6 of us in his station wagon, and we had a lot of fun, created a lot of great memories. And I remember one day, and I remember it like it was yesterday, that we was playing the game, and then it happened. The opportunity happened. The opportunity for the game-winning shot. This is the moment that I was preparing for all my life. One of the biggest climaxes of my life. And so I remember that moment where I was coming down the court, my teammate passing the ball exactly the same spot that I've always practiced. And then you know what I did once I got the ball? I passed it back. You wanna know why? Because what went through my mind was, wow, what if I miss? What if I missed? That's what went through my mind. And then immediately after, and this was very unorthodox, is that my coach, he pulled me out of the game and said, "What are you doing?" I said, what do you mean? And as we were talking, you know, the team basically won the game. And said, what do you mean we won? And he said, this is something I want to tell you. There's things that are bigger than basketball. He said, that's a shot you practice all your life. I've seen it. He said that you're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. I said, what do you mean? He said, you know, you were thinking about what would have happened if you would have missed the shot. You should have been thinking about what would happen if you would have made the shot. And he said, this is a lesson that you can learn for the rest of your life about taking risks. So I did that just in my career, in my business, with school. Because what Jeff told me then, he also modeled in his life that in his life he was playing to win. Moving here to Atlanta from Chicago, he could have not taken risks. He could have just stayed comfortable with his family. But in his life, he played to win by risking his time. He didn't know us, he didn't know me, but he gave himself to me. So over the years, he would tell me different lessons about what it meant to play to win and play not to lose. He said, you have to it starts with a decision. You have to decide what type of mentality you want to have. He said that you have to continue to put in effort. No matter what field you're in, you have to put in effort to the preparation. You have to continue to be in the right environment. He said it was great being around this team, but you have to continue to put yourself around great winners in order to continue to be great. And lastly, he said, in order to play to win, you have to persevere. That sometimes when you take that shot, you may miss, but you have to continue to persevere. And as I mentioned, some people come into our life just for a season. And that was with Jeff. He actually had to abruptly move back to Chicago, and I don't know why, or haven't seen him before, but I appreciate that lesson he left with me about playing to win and playing not to lose. And so, fellow Toastmasters, my hope for us is that when we get our shots in life, that we will play to win and not play not to lose. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.